No one is saying America is bad, thus Americans are bad. We are not nationalists. Yeah, a lot of the people that say Hasan's entire framework is America bad sound exactly like the 9/11 reactionaries. The people that were like, oh, America deserved 9/11. Dude, Hasan wants 9/11 to happen multiple times, okay? He wants 9/11 to happen over and over and over again. Is that what I said? Or was I talking about a concept such as blowback? So that's the hilarious part about this. The irony is that so many people who champion that because it's so far in the past are now saying the exact same criticisms as though these are valid criticisms. If folks like D-Man retires, Destiny retires, I get 30% less hate. If Destiny retires, I get 70% less hate. 1,000,000%. It's his community that is like so aggressive, and they infiltrate other communities, and like they fester and are the actual reason for so much of the bad faith criticism. And because they've been embedded in here for a very long time, some were fans. Yes, 100%. He has a assortment of a diverse array of ideology from people from like ideological backgrounds that make no sense, like from liberals all the way to like the worst types of Nazis that all collectively unite under one very good umbrella. And that very comfortable umbrella is Hasan bad, always and forever. Crazy to ride or die for a 5'7" guy who lives to the N-word. Okay, first of all, you just described a big chunk of people who are extremely online. So I don't know why you don't understand that, but it's fine. Let's keep going. I think you're in a bit of a predicament because you have haters who are working to make you fail. You also provide ammo to these losers by simply not going with the normal reactionary perspective on any and all things. Self-hill to climb. Got to be able to just operate with that understanding and ignore it as best you can. Guys, there is a tremendous number of why do you think people hate on you? I think people hate on me because this is the last thing I'm going to mention, and then we're going to move on and we're going to get to the news. I think people hate on me because I'm loud, I'm passionate, I'm emotional, and the issues I talk about are obviously very hot button topics that people have really strong opinions on oftentimes. It's polarizing. I feel like HasanAbi is the most oppressed minority in modern society. That's silly. Of course I'm not. I'm a profoundly privileged person, something I willingly admit all the time, something you can see when you join the broadcast. It's just that I advocate for a intersectional worldview that also features class. So it runs against every single thing that many people are comfortable with, every single thing that like society has normalized. And so from that framework, it is much easier to just like disparage, tar and feather, or tarnish someone like myself. I have an incredibly high hurdle of morality that I must clear with every step I take. And I do believe I clear it regardless. Now, after a certain point, when all of that piles on over and over again, you just become a toxic person regardless of what you advocate for. And that is what has happened over the course of many, many years. It was never an issue for conservatives to yell at me. But once liberals who say that they're actually the real progressives come knocking down my door, championing all of the information that they regurgitate off of CNN, Wikipedia, and numerous other liberal commentators that are readily available all over mainstream media, that does genuinely present a problem. Because my goal is not to push liberals aside. My goal is to welcome them with open arms, as I have done time and time again, including even reactionaries, as long as they are charitable and as long as they want to understand a different perspective. And if they can't do it on the boundaries of the ideas that I present, they often just sidestep the ideas entirely and start talking about my character and how my character is actually weak and bad. How I've mistreated Ethan. Absolutely zero people talked about the conversation that Ethan and I had on the boundaries of like what actually was featured in that said conversation. Hundreds of thousands of views on videos simply saying Hasan is so mean to his friend. Look at him. He's such a hypocrite for not controlling his own community. Look at him. No one talked about the actual argument. I am far from the most aggressive debater, I would say. And Ethan and I are still friends, but that does not matter. And you need to, as a community, also stop fucking ripping into Ethan nonstop. As I've said it over and over again, leading up to the conversation that we had on this broadcast. You guys are so fucking stupid for doing that. You are. And it frustrates me to no fucking end. I've told you this time and time again in this time frame, just like I kept telling you, Ethan is not your enemy over and over again. And the reality is, you keep doing it. You can't shut the fuck up. And I don't know how to deal with it after a certain point. This is the issue. Nah, he was being fucking racist. Public shaming is good sometimes. This is the problem. You and I are at a disagreement. You and I are at a disagreement. We are at odds on this. I've told you this time and time again. Okay? Throughout that entire fucking month. And then here comes the secondary arguments, which is you're only defending him because he's your friend. You're an unprincipled person. A lot of long-term subs get way too overprotective. I know. I just never liked Ethan, but I wouldn't shit on him on Twitter or anything. Okay, take an hour off too for demanding that I unban another chatter. That's not a ban. That's time off. Okay? A little bit of time off is not the end of the world. I'm always in this weird predicament where I'm simultaneously defending my friends in an unprincipled manner, but also so critical of them that I make them cry by bullying them. It's very frustrating. Let's get serious for a second. I have reformed. I think I'm doing a good job with the way I carry myself. Why can't you? Because the reality is, you also have to, if you're going to ride or die as a card-carrying HasanAbi head, you have to also carry yourself in a very specific manner. So please do that. Remember, on October 8th, the first thing that people did, because they couldn't come after any of the statements that I made, was to find chatters in like the depths of my subreddit before they could get moderated out and the unhinged things that they were saying. To be like, look at Hasan. Look at how he is. So if the overwhelming majority of this community is like championing certain slants that are silly, yes, a lot of people are going to say Hasan is the reason why his community is like this. So please carry yourself a little bit better so it makes it easier for me to moderate personally. And then you look at their post histories and see some interesting things those people have in common. Yeah. There's a big portion of this community that think that what YouTubers' opinions matter a lot more than they actually do. You shouldn't give a fuck about what Ethan thinks. He's a meme YouTuber. It's like getting mad at FaZe Banks. Only difference is Ethan is your friend. Thank you. That is precisely my point. And he also didn't just like sour from, like a lot of people I think made the false assertion that he just wanted to cowardly not talk about Israel-Palestine because his position is like more reactionary. No, I think he just soured from politics across the board, which, you know, if it makes him happy to not do that, then that's fine. But the reason why he soured from covering politics, despite the fact that he has like a relatively open-minded position with some exceptions, what you have to remember is that this community has to be more forgiving and more understanding of people's bigotry or people's framework or people's modus operandi. This is not about Ethan at all. And this is not a stun lock either. For those of you going, I can't believe you're doing a stun lock again. Okay? This is not a stun lock. This is something that I hold firmly as a fundamental value that I care about. Be kind to individuals. Be ruthless to systems, as the late, great Michael Jamal Brooks said. A lot of you oftentimes don't do that. And of course, there are instances, and no, this is not me. For the record, where is it? This chatter said, oh, are you turning on your chat because of the criticisms that your haters make? Like, no. I don't know if you're new here. But this is something I do all the time. This is something I have yelled about all the time and time again. Leftist politics has a tendency to engage in purity spirals. I despise purity spirals because my goal, which many people will say, is clout chasing, but my goal is to bring normies on board. and change their attitude. That requires charitability from them for me, but it also requires charitability from me to them. So, you know, you should be more charitable as well. Your chat is okay with Adam Freeland and he's more conventionally problematic than Ethan for a reason. I agree. Yeah. It's a great example. It's vibes based in many instances as well. It's unprincipled and it's vibes based. Politics grinds people down easily. Same reason politically based communities have such an ebb and flow of new and old members. A very aggressive approach to things can grind them down even faster and be more off-putting than the actual streamer saying something. Yeah. Pretty weird to ignore how Ethan was genuinely grossly racist to that guy Margbar on Twitter that he said he'd get killed in Gaza for his lifestyle choices. Yeah, that was literally the same as like a Libs of TikTok tweet. And he noticed that it was wrong. He noticed that it was wrong immediately and he took it down. He even apologized for it too, if I'm not mistaken. The problem is you're still holding on to that, okay? Because it makes you feel better to be like to re-justify the picture that you've painted. This conversation is not about Ethan. I don't care. We're done. Okay? We're done. We're not talking about Ethan anymore. Please stop. It's literally about not wanting to forgive and not having empathy. You're failing to see the broader picture. Please listen to what I'm doing. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. I have been canceled by Black Twitter for a tweet I did not even tweet about Nicki Minaj that you would have to really think twice about to assume is actually racist. Do you think that the Barbs were correct in that moment for immediately desperately grabbing onto anything and everything they could to say that I'm actually racist? I'm a white man who's being racist as Nicki Minaj was defending Tucker Carlson's politics? Or do you think they were desperately, you know, doing the same uncharitable approach that many people do online? We should be better. Be normal. I'm sorry I'm a Barb. It's okay. I've made peace with the Barbs, at least on my end. Are you saying that be the kind of people who are accused of racism or someone who's actively being racist to you? No. I'm saying don't hold on to people's past mistakes. That's all I'm stating. And be more charitable. Be more charitable across the board. Your job, if you're a leftist, if you're a socialist, if you're progressive, is to put your best foot forward. I'm trying to do that as best as I can, and I hope you can too. No more so you're saying. So if Destiny said sorry, you'd be cool with that? Yes. If he came out and apologized for literally fucking aligning with every and any Nazi that he could fucking come to terms with and directing his community to cyber stalk me for the past fucking 5 years and have entire paste bins full of like clips out of context that they can readily throw at any conversation and try to literally brigade any and every mention of me online. If he was genuinely apologetic, I absolutely would take that charitably. Doesn't mean I'd be friends with him. I used to be friends with him. I was friends with him because I thought he was a reformed libertarian. I knew his past. I've defended him. I've defended him time and time again. There are multiple reasons as to why I go out of my way to not mention Destiny ever. Part of it is because, you know, his community thrives on that, so they can cut a lot of content around it and be like, oh yeah, Hasan is talking about you. He must be rent-free after like 1,500 videos that he's made on me over the course of the past 4 years. But the other reason is because I just want to not talk about it. I just think it's very unproductive to consistently harp on like every minor or major failure that he's had. You think I don't see it all over my fucking timeline? I do. Plenty of people yell at him. He openly tries to make you a lolcow. Fuck him and his own Washington Style fans. He's not the first to openly try to lolcow me. Okay? It comes off like streamer drama. I appreciate that you stick to better issues. You have good arguments on your side. No need for character assassination. All right. Let's get to